Well, hello there everyone. This is Richard Denning, designer of the Great Fire of London board game and of Medusa Games. This is my latest prototype that I'm currently working on. It's called A Great Museum, and it will be on show in the author's prototype section in Hall 7 at Essen in only a couple of weeks' time. This current version here is as it will be shown at Essen. This isn't necessarily going to be the final production version. Obviously, one of the reasons for showing it to people is to get feedback and make some tweaks, perhaps to some of the artwork, perhaps to some of the mechanics. But this will give you something of an overview of how the game works. Okay then, so in Great Museum, players will have their museum. This is a museum board, and it shows several things. It shows regional halls, purple here for the Americas, Oceania there brown, also Europe, Asia and Africa, into which you will be collecting artifacts. Artifacts come of one of 8 types, so here we can see up here we've got jewellery, documents, fossils, artwork, pottery, statues, weapons and sarcophagi or mummies. Now you can only have one of each type in each hall. The artifacts themselves will come in sort of quality, so 1 star is the lowest quality, 2 middle and up to 3 star for the best quality artifact. Also in my museum here I have spaces down here for a vault where I can store up to 6 additional artifacts for free, and more storage space over here on the right where I can store artifacts additional cost. I have a space in the middle, at the middle here, for special exhibitions which I will be running. That will give me additional space to put artifacts into whilst I'm collecting an exhibition. On the right here you can see a special exhibition card that I start the game with. It can be kept hidden in this unannounced exhibition slot until such a time as I decide to announce it. Once I announce it, I'll slide it across and put it in one of the slots over here, and that will show you what I have to actually collect in order to complete this special exhibition. In this case, fossils and pottery from both Africa and Asia. Because I was given that at the start of the game, I have, as all players do at the start of the game, spent a bit of my initial money to get some initial tiles, and I've drawn those tiles blindly from the relevant piles which are over here. 1 pile for each of the continents. So I have drawn them, and this is what I ended up with. I was fairly lucky with the in getting a fossil from both continents, but I'm still going to have to be searching for those pots in order to complete my special exhibition there. That cost me 11 coins, the same cost as the number of stars, and I took that off the 25 that I started with. Gold here is 5, so I ended up with 14 money left to start the game. Now, game is played in a series of 4 turns, and in each turn quite a lot happens, and there's a series of phases. Phase 1, we each get a chance to buy one of these action cards. These action cards will give you an edge in some aspect of the game. So if we have a look here at the interception card, if I buy that, I can take the first artifact of an expedition which I am supporting. I'll show you expeditions in a minute. The trader helps me in the market phase. The bribery card allows me to take a bit of a gamble at the black market without taking too much of a risk. The no expenses is good for the archaeology phase, and the gift shop there will give me extra income. Now what happens is when somebody buys one of these cards, they'll pay the cost here, and then another card will be turned over in order to replace it. And every player in turns 1 and 2 can buy one of these cards if they wish. In turns 3 and 4 you can actually buy 2 cards each. Most of the cards will have some in-game advantage. Sometimes it will help you score more from things like exhibitions. Sometimes they will just give you more money or allow you to break some of the basic rules in the game. We've got the action cards split into 2 decks. Deck 2 is used in turns 3 and 4, and amongst other things includes some end game cards which give you a bonus at the end of the game, which you may decide to buy. Okay, that's phase 1. Move on to phase 2. In phase 2 we're going to be going on archaeological digs, and there are some other options. You will choose, in player order, one of these dig sites here. Each of them functions the same way but has its own little special power. When you go into the dig site, you spend some money. You initially spend 4, like that. And you put 4 tiles. I'm still going after these blue tiles, so I put 4 blue tiles face up, thus, into the dig site. Okay, looking for my pots, and I struck it lucky there. I've actually ended up with 2 pots. No bother, I'll probably try and flog one later on in the market phase. Okay, so I've spent 4. Now I might want to spend more than my initial 4 here. I might decide actually I'm going to spend a total of say 10, and if I do that then I'll move the marker up to the 10 thus, and when I do that I'm going to be passing 2 little dice symbols, you see, here and here. That means that I'm going to roll this dice, okay, and the dice have 0s, 1s, 2s and 3s on. So I'm going to roll the dice twice. That was a red one, which means that I put another tile on face down. Red numbers means face down. Roll it again. This time I've got a black 2, so I put 2 tiles face up into the display. Now, so that's my turn done. Somebody else, other players will now get a chance in turn to come in. Now they can both start their own digs, say in one of the other sites, or they might decide to come in on the dig that I'm in. If they come in on the dig I'm in, they spend the money required to get to the space they're on, and then roll as many dice symbols, in this case 3, as they go past. This will obviously add more tiles to the dig site. If once the tile row is full, you can continue to invest, keep rolling, and then you turn over tiles dependent on the number on the dice. Once all the tiles are face up though, that dig is full and nobody else can back it. Now, at the end of the archaeology phase we will divide up the artifacts, and the way you divide up the artifacts is that the person who has invested the most in a dig first of all gets the special powers on the left. This special power means that you get to peek at any face down exhibits. This one here means that you get to swap 2 tiles you don't like. This one means you get 2 money, and this one means that you get to take an extra tile matching the same colour. And the way that you do this is that you go back down the track until you are behind another player. So I will go 1, 2, 3 spaces and take 3 tiles of my choice. Then yellow will go back 2 spaces and take 2 tiles of their choice. And we carry on doing that until we run out of tiles to take, or until we've left the track, in which case the spare tiles are thrown in the black market bag here. Okay. The other options in phase 2 are shown over here. You can go and give a visiting lecture to get 3 money. You can go to the library. If you go to the library, you get to draw 1 plus a dice roll, so only 1 in that case, of these special clue tiles, and these clue tiles we'll come back to in the game, but they are going to allow you to find what I call the main attractions. So let's say I take that clue tile and leave it there. Clue tiles don't count against the storage limits in my museum. Okay, the other final thing I could do is I could go to administer the museum and I would gain 2 victory points. Each player gets to do 2 things in phase 2, so they've got 2 little markers there just to keep track of what you've done. The general, most of the fight, as it were, most of the sort of backbiting and the attempt to sort of slightly screw over other players tends to happen in these archaeology dig sites, because obviously, as you can see, if you go in there on your own you're going to get everything. If somebody else comes in you're going to end up sharing. You might not get to choose the ones you want, so there's elements there for a little bit of you know, backbiting and things. On the other hand, other people coming into a dig site increases the number of artifacts that are there. So there are pros and cons. Right, phase 3 is the market phase. In phase 3 we will get to buy and sell artifacts. We will sell artifacts into these cards here, and everyone gets to do two things again in phase 2, just like in phase 2. So I can go in here and I can sell an artifact if I can match one of these things. So say because I'd ended up buying these blue things, I had a spare, a spare pottery tile there. That's a blue card. There's a space here for a blue tile, so I could sell that blue tile and I would gain a number of coins equal to the stars on the tile, plus any numbers underneath it, there aren't any in this case, plus this number here. So I'd actually gain four money for that. Down here, the orange, with the ones with orange numbers, are buy cards. This is stuff that's not available on the market, and you can buy tiles at the cost of the stars plus those orange numbers. So I could decide I want to buy this weapon here, and it will cost me 2 plus 4 is 6 coins. Okay. Other things you can do in phase 2 is you can go to the black market. Now in the black market you're taking a bit of a risk. You put your marker there to show that you're gone. You roll the dice. If you roll a 1, 2 or a 3, then you can buy those number of tiles from that display up there at the cost of 1 coin each. You can also turn over as many tiles as you rolled on the dice, so maybe I'll turn that one over just to have a peek at it, and then I can buy one of these, say, I'll go with the green, and what I do is I pay my money, but I leave my marker on the tile in that space. Now, other people, given the fact you can come into you do 2 things in phase 3, so in a 5-player game there will be 10 things going on between the players. Another players might decide to have a go in the black market as well. If they come in and this time they roll the dice and they get a 0 on it, the 0's gone, then they have been caught. They will get nothing. They will take a -5 prestige point marker for being caught, being bad boys, trading on the black market, and they've gone without anything. You will now have to roll, and if I get a 1 on the dice, sorry, if I get a 0 on the dice because I'd taken 1 symbol, then I would have been caught. If I had taken 2 tiles, it would have been a 1. There are 2 1s on the dice, there's only 1 0. And if I'd taken risk and taken 3 tiles, then I would be caught on a 1 or a 0. But I rolled a 2, so I got away with it. Okay. The black market, by the way, is continually refreshed as it's used up from the black market bag. As the black market bag runs out, then we take more from the piles over there. Right, the final thing you can do is go to the auction house, and in the auction house you can put a tile on, and you can start a bid. So you start a sale at 2 for the first 3 spaces, or 1 for the next 3 spaces. If nobody wants it, the bank buys it off you at 2. Otherwise, if other players are willing to pay more, then you'll get as much as other players are willing to buy. Phase 4. Phase 4 is about buying these special exhibition cards here. You've already started the game with 1. You may only keep 1 unannounced special exhibition. If you buy additional ones, then you either have to announce it or announce the one you already had, and then you can hide this one as an unannounced one. The whole point of these is you'll be scoring more points by doing exhibitions, and every previous exhibition you've done in the game will score you points as the game goes on. These decks cycle, so if I decided to buy, say, Potter's Wheel here, then that's Potter's Wheel, then we would shuffle the whole deck down, and we'd replace it with another deck. Everyone gets a chance to go through twice, and so these are continually sort of cycling over in order to give people opportunities to find cards that match tiles and cards they actually have. Finally, and these cost 4 each, by the way. Phase 5 is the main attraction. These main attraction cards are a bit different. They have on them symbols that are what we call clue tiles. Earlier on, I'd actually picked up one of those key tiles. There are 4 types of clue tiles: the blue ones, which are sort of inscriptions; the green ones, which are meant to be maps. There are sort of compass symbols here, and there are also keys as well. Now, these clues, if you collect them, once you've got the sets that match these, you can pay to sort of fund a private dig to go and find these items, and then you take them and you go and put them into your museum, like that in the central bit. You can have up to 2 main attractions. The Ark of the Covenant will give me 12 points each turn that I own it. Other cards might increase the value of certain halls or certain types of exhibits. So, for example, over here, the tomb of Alexander doubles the value of each sarcophagus tile. The Hindu god doubles the value of each Asian tile, and so on. That is phase 5. We now score up for the turn. You score by adding together the stars that you own in the museum. If you manage to complete an exhibition, then you would add some bonus to that. Here, in this case, stars plus 9 points. If you have a main attraction, you can add that on as well. And then you look at a number of exhibitions exhibits you've got in a particular hall, and have a look at this here table here, and that gives you a bonus depending on the total number of tiles that you've got. Right, so that is the game. Once you've scored that up, you then look at this little chart, and you have first of all check the number that you scored. So let's say we scored 22. What we then do is we look at one of these end bracket things that the one before wherever we got to. So in this case, we would have scored 13 income and 8 victory points, and so we advance our marker 8 victory points on the track. So your points you score in a turn convert to prestige points, or victory points if you like, and also money, which is shown by this chart. In the first turn of the game, you'd expect to get something around about 10 to 20 points, maybe, and then it will go up from there. You then start again. Player order changes dependent on, and the person to go first in a turn is the one who has scored the least. Give them a chance to get first pick at various dig sites and so on, and that is the game. And at the end of the whole game, you score up for the final time. You get your money, because the money divided by 10 is additional prestige points on this track, and you might perhaps have bought one of those end game cards that I spoke about, and so you'll get some additional points from that, and whoever scored the most prestige wins the game. And that is Great Museum. It will be at Essen in just a couple of weeks' time, in Hall 7. If you want to get in touch via the medusagames.co.uk website, or email me richard@medusagames.co.uk, and I can arrange a time for a demo. We've already got a few people who are booked in for demos, but happy to take some more. Love to get a bit of feedback, see what you think about it. Okay, see you there.